Do have the garrison, should be able to fire right out here. Look at that, right in the enemy's faces while they are still manoeuvring, but they're going to keep a very nice fire on our flanks over here. Hello everyone, welcome back to Napoleon Total War as the Kingdom of Prussia. We are in a very tight spot indeed, only on the third episode as well. We have recently captured Prague, and that is because we are at war with pretty much the entirety of Europe. We are at war with France, Austria and Russia, and of course Napoleon's allies will be joining as well, which is very nasty indeed. We're also at war with the Electors of Hesse Castle. They've taken Cleves off of us, and we're at war with Sicily, but that's not quite so bothersome at the moment. So what are we going to be doing today? Well, we're going to try and expand a little further into Austria, perhaps go for Vienna itself, or at least just defend. We can see some straggling Austrian armies, and we can actually see a Russian army from Mikhail Kutuzov over here, which is a rather interesting position for him because he does start, and we did previously see him outside of Vienna, so he's clearly been relocated over here. Which does suggest we're going to possibly lose Warsaw very soon indeed, and that is going to be very bothersome actually, because that's quite the money maker and it's quite well developed as well. We can get some rather elite infantry over here in the form of Swiss Grenadiers, line infantry and some Black Brunswickers over here, which is very nasty indeed if we do lose that. So the hope for today then is shore up the defences over there. I think we're going to cycle around our armies from Prague over to Dresden to sort that out and bring in a fresh army down here so that we can defend that nicely indeed. Might want to recruit a couple more units over here though to make sure we have a decent army over here. We don't want to keep the Landwehr in this army if it is going to be defending more actively. Rather some proper and true line infantry over here if possible. We do have a few units of light infantry over here. I might want to swap those out for some more holding power because we are rather cannon heavy as well. We have 4 units of cannons. It's good for defensive battles, but that's rarely the case. The AI does rarely charge into you, unfortunately, until the later stages of the battle, of course. So what can we afford? Not really anything, to be honest. We can get one going. I think really we just try and save up some money. We've not got the greatest, but it's actually fairly respectable income for our current position. So I think really going to be somewhat boring. Just end the turn straight away and get to the next turn to free us up a little bit and allow us some action. Right, so now that we've done that, we have nation joins our enemies, the Kingdom of Naples. Not the worst once again, but something to look out for. We do have a good amount of buildings constructed. Most notably, I would say, is our university has been upgraded to the tier 2, which is excellent. So if you remember, we had about 7 or 8 turns to get field ambulances, I believe it was, or logistics. It's gone straight down to 3 turns there, and that's absolutely useful indeed. That's exactly what we need, the replenishment rate and the movement range. So 3 turns for that is absolutely ideal there. Let's check where Mikhail Kutuzov has gone. Looks like he's retreating back into Russia, and that's indeed what he's doing. So that gives us a little more time. However, we do see just a very minor stack of Austrians over here. That's only 2 units, but we have an army in Olmütz over here, and that is going to be threatening Silesia. I don't think we can defend that in time. We're quite likely going to have to come back and recapture that. So what we're going to do is make a very expensive and elite army over here. We're going to be making as much Swiss line as possible over here. We're going to be using Königsberg as well to get up, I think, some cavalry. What sort of cavalry do we want? Hussars, not necessarily bad. We've actually got an accuracy rating there, which is rather interesting. But no range. Interesting. I don't really particularly like lancers, simply because hussars, you know, while they're light cavalry, can fare much better in sustained melee. That's generally how I use my cavalry. So having said that, why not just get these more light cavalry as well, the Prussian Jägersfeld over here. Mounted Jägers actually as scouts and skirmishers, so they're more dragoons really. But I'm not sure they can fire while mounted like Chasseur Cheval can, so I think we're going to go for some hussars over here, and we'll shore ourselves up with a little more line infantry as well there. so that we do get some semblance of an army and defence going over here. We should be able to recruit one fairly quickly between these two cities. So that's run our treasury down, absolutely not a problem there. We have the problem of replenishment over here, which is why I want to bring in this army at least. What else do we have over here? A couple units of light infantry. Don't really want light infantry in this army, that's a problem. We're just going to have to shift these over. Can we reach... Can reach Dresden with this army immediately. Let's get straight in there. And there we go. That's at least defended. And we're looking okay here for our happiness while that's happening as well. We do have quite a while to wait there for that happiness to go over. And because our port is no longer blockaded, our income has gone up. That will go straight back down as we recruit that new army. So there's not a lot more we can do. However, I think really we need to try and get some sort of peace treaty with at least Russia. It's going to be tough to take on Austria, but it's going to have to be done. I think there's more chance of doing that. To try and get a peace treaty with Russia, we'll offer them some technologies and a trade agreement. They have said no, which is rather unlucky there. Can't give them any payments because we have just run ourselves out of money. What if we offer them a good amount of military access with none in return? Go for trade agreement as well. They've still said no, which is rather unlucky. Can we do anything with the electors of Hesse Castle? Because that does save us a little bit of time there. Give them some military access as well as far in advance there. They've still said no, so we are rather stuck for that, which is rather unlucky indeed. We'll get our gentlemen in here. Have we got any new agents? We certainly haven't. Rather unlucky there, aren't we? So, where was that unit of... it's in Berlin, that's absolutely fine. That's still just with some light infantry there. Got... Just wondering how we can mix around our units here. Try and get something decent rather than these militia. I really don't like having militia on the front line. I think we're going to move down this line infantry here to move in over the next couple of turns at least. Then later on we can just recruit from here. We can't, we don't have, we'll just recruit from Dresden, that's absolutely fine. I think really we're watching this army in particular here to threaten Silesia. That will take a couple of turns to get over there, but I think we're going to have to be recapturing that rather than defending it outright. Okay, so at the end of the turn, we're not looking so bad. We have a mine raided over here. That's really not the end of the world at all. Our income is still somewhat stable as well. We do, of course, have a very nice recruitment report there. Very, very nice semblance of an army starting. And we have some more magistrate buildings as well as a opera house in Dresden, which is brilliant. That will help with our happiness in the short term. It's still not entirely great. How's it looking without a garrison? Still -6. That's quite a long time there. I think what I'm going to do is sacrifice some income for replenishment over here and change up our market to a supply post. Because that means we can actually get some Swiss Grenadiers and such over here, but they are limited by recruitment number there. But it's more about being able to retreat back to Berlin and have a decent replenishment time there. Now, going against my better judgment and actually not getting the increased farms in our territories over here, simply because we don't want to spend our money on that just yet. I think getting a decent army up is certainly the way to go for now. We're going to bring some Landwehr out over here, bring in this line infantry here, much better. I think we're going to have to free up this army and just create a lot of Landwehr over here as well. They don't cost a lot. Get 1, 2, 3 there. Get even more. There we go. Get as much as we can for now. That should do. Okay, we'll let that happen. That will spawn outside of the city, and then we can push into Berlin, where we should get somewhat better replenishment over the next term. Going to keep spending, however, and we're going to get some more elite infantry over here. Just going to move down very quickly, hire a general, I think. Very nice artillery general here. Command leading infantry. Movement range is always useful. Command isn't necessarily bad. I do quite like the movement range of this general though. We could of course not hire one and bring in Friedrich over here. It does have -1 to morale. We had a +1 there to cancel that out and a +3 to morale. I think that's really, morale is king at the end of the day there. Certainly is king. We're going to bring him over from Danzig so he's not at risk of being intercepted by these couple units over here. What could we get over? Some very nice heavy cavalry over here, but that would be very expensive. It will work wonders in battles though is the problem. We can get some experience line infantry here. I'm going to do that. Get 1 more units of hussars over here. And I think over here we're going to go straight for these Black Brunswickers over here. Get a couple units of those actually. It's going to be, like I said, a somewhat elite army over here so that we can deal with our back line and then push in maybe to maybe even take a Courland, Lithuania and Riga over here to force a peace with Russia. Might even get a ship sail to St. Petersburg over there. Maybe even make that independent if possible. Independent under our protection, of course, as things should be, but we are going to have to wait once again for our coffers to fill up. There's not much we can do with our taxes. If we increase the lower order taxes there, we're on 5.3 thousand with that increase. Going back down, not a lot really, not a lot of difference, and the happiness just isn't worth risking there, I don't think. What we can do is it worth kicking our justice minister to increase the repression perhaps? Not entirely sure. Our government popularity is absolutely terrible because of our taxes. That's absolutely fine at the moment. I think we fire this young man here. And that has slightly reduced the cost of town watch, which will work a little bit of money for us there. In fact, it's reduced for some reason. Interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. I wonder what to do with these light infantry. I think we simply remove these at the moment. We remove this one for a little bit of income. Going to keep the Silesian Schützen as previously mentioned. They are somewhat unique. I don't want to have to bother with recruiting those in the future. It's going to take a couple more turns for this cavalry to come back up. We just need 3 units of line infantry here, really, don't we? So I think we're going to go forwards once again and just see how we're going. The Austrian army is not threatening Silesia at the moment, but we do have this couple units over here. We should have some armed citizenry defending here, so we should be able to defend if need be. I think we'll be just fine there. Okay, and very luckily we do have a new spy in Saxony, which is absolutely brilliant. So we're going to have to use that and put them into Vienna, I think. We are just going to take a detour through Munich and Stuttgart over here so that they can see what's going on through there. Make sure there's no French armies coming from the south here and just get them on the road as a long order there. Enemy raid in this manufactory once again. We are in range to deal with that, actually, and I think we do so. I think we certainly do so. What do we want to use for that? Because we do have an army here as well. Just take this out. Move our militia in here. A lot of units there. Supply post as well has been built. Excellent. Missed where that was actually. That's absolutely fine. Just over here actually, which is very, very useful in Prague. That's very, very useful forward base now. I think really we go for the larger army here. Who would be best to deal with that? There's no large army too close over here. This one will quite likely raid our supply posts, unfortunately. We can't quite reach that in one turn. I think we use this army. We can hopefully use our cannons to batter them. Go straight in. Yeah, and that's coming around here. Rather interesting retreat path there. Let's put them out of the way for us. So we'll garrison once again. What we can do is probably use our militia. Oh, I don't know actually. Not with cavalry and such in there. I think we certainly just try and use this army and not batter ourselves too much there. There we go. So I'm going to play this battle. We should take less losses than an auto resolve, and it gives us more control over where the losses are spread around. So let's just rush through this, I think. And that was a very, very nice battle indeed. It took fairly long though. I'm glad we skipped over that over there because they came in rather piecemeal. Very good for us. Lets us focus them down one by one. But I just dragged us out for far too long. That should not be able to retreat since it did retreat earlier. And that means we can actually push on into Prague with its new supply posts and take advantage of the new replenishment there. Just slightly better at the moment. But that's all we need, just something just slightly better. How are we doing for our recruitment over here then? We should have... Yeah, we have some hussars over here. We are going to bring in this unit just to visualise a little better exactly how we're looking. 1 unit, we're going to get our general over as well. Very nice indeed. Get just 1 more unit of line infantry there. Do you want some cannons? Probably best to bring some cannons, absolutely. So, just wonder if we could get some horse artillery. Very much liking those at the moment. Let's get a couple of units there. So, what's that? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16. I think we just get then a couple units of light infantry. What sort do we want though? I think we certainly get the Jaegers maybe. How we're looking for money. It's not the greatest difference there. I think we go for the Jaegers for sure. Do like me some Jaegers. And we will get 1 more unit then of line infantry over here just to help out there. We get some experienced musketeers. That'll be very nice indeed. And that should finish us up for this army. Excellent. Do we need more? We don't need more landwehr over here. That's great. So that should really free us up then and allow us to push back into Hanover to get rid of the French army. Maybe even have a look at Hesse Castle with 1 army. Or maybe just send both of our armies over here and go hard into Vienna, I think is probably the best to knock Austria out as quickly as possible there. So what's we doing for research? 1 more turn for logistics is excellent. Means we can move a bit harder indeed. So let's keep going and see what we can do there. Alrighty, so good nasty couple messages over here. Let's have a look at this. We have another spy over here. Let's have a look at this. Nation joins our enemies. Kingdom of Spain, lovely stuff. New gentleman in Brandenburg as well. And we've just been raided by Sweden. Very surprise attack there. And the cancellation to our trade is going to be nasty as well because of that. Have another magistrates building, more replenishment, more recruitment, and our economy is in the shitter. So we absolutely need to come back to the home front here and deal with. We have a Hesse Castle army as well over here. Rather nasty. How are we looking over in Prague? We can certainly have a look over there. We have another Austrian army over here now. Rather nasty indeed. That is. I'm not liking that at all. We should be able to take that on, though we do of course have these units over here to worry about. I think we're going to have to sacrifice Breslau, unfortunately. We'll come round over... How are we going to reunite our forces over here? That's the question. A bit of an unlucky misclick there. Okay, what we're going to do is just come back round here then, waste some movement, try to bring those armies round with each other there. Rather unlucky misclick indeed. I think we cancel the cannons over here to save our future income. Put some money into actually helping our income out somewhere, I think. Might want to go for a theatre, might be one of the better options there. Could even, of course, help out and repair these, but I'm thinking we're going to get raided once again. Actually, over there. Difficult campaign, this. Very difficult. Very, very difficult indeed. We're going to have to go for the division of labour here. Bring our spy down. Like so. Bring him down here. It's just this port being raided once again. Can we try and get some peace with Russia out of anything, really? Offer them these. Said no once again. That's rather unlucky there. Can we get an emergency peace with Hesse Castle so we can eliminate that army? Maybe get a trade agreement with the Batavian Republic there. They say yes, which is excellent. Let's go over here. Like so. Is there anything else we can do there? Pay them these tiniest bits. We'll offer them 1,000 there. Let's move the camera down. So, no, they're bloodthirsty, aren't they? Everyone's really bloodthirsty here. Not enjoying that at all. Might just be able to take on this army here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. If we bring these together, how's that hurting our... we should be able to bring these two armies together here. Over there. Take on the Swiss army like that. Bring one army. I think this one's going to have to take on the army of Hesse Castle. We can probably actually move this army over to help out with Silesia as well, because I think we're okay down in Prague at the moment. Let's stretch out there. Like so. Not great with the replenishment, unfortunately. So I think what we're going to do is sacrifice these units here. We are going to have to take back Silesia. Absolutely going to have to take back Silesia. Take out 1, 2 units here. Bring these in. Like that. We should be able to replenish the rest over the one turn and then get straight into Silesia there. It's rather tight though, rather tight. Bring this army down as far as possible. Can we attack this on this turn? I don't think we can, but we can certainly try and force an engagement there. There we go. They get a retreat, which is rather interesting, from large militia. We have to do this very quickly though with our army, because we need this to garrison over here so we don't get a revolt in a couple turns. That's really nasty indeed, because we are on the negative somehow now. Bring that up, we are going to get revolts just like so. We can't unfortunately push something else of here. That's rather unlucky there indeed. We're going to have to just force the units out into our port there later on to free up Kolberg. I think, where do I want to put some money? I think we save money since our economy is terrible at the moment. You have to just save and push in later on there, I think. Right, so actually some good and bad news. The Austrians are sieging down Breslau and Silesia. That does us a favour. It means we don't have to recapture it. We can certainly go in and take them out as they are now. That's just a very elite army though, with, you can see, Hungarian Fusiliers, cannons and Swiss line. That is going to be a very tough battle. And the United Kingdom has joined as well. What the bloody hell. Oh dearie dear. Oh dearie dear. Not liking that at all. Not liking that at all. Where's that Hesse Castle army gone? Not liking that sudden disappearance. Not like... Oh, it's just over here. Okay, interesting. Alright, so we're going to have to deal with that right now. We're going to have to deal with Austria as well over here. We're going to just take this out because we do need numbers. Do that. Bring these guys round. Form up over here. They can garrison Dresden, I think. And they can serve as reinforcements when we deal with the Swiss army over here, I think. So what do we go for first? The pressing matter, I think, is the Austrian army over here. We're going to just take on this unit to prepare. Also that over. That's a loss of losses though. Not learning the lesson there. So that will help make sure that doesn't reinforce this army. And we're going to snap up this one if possible, and this will be the main battle over here. So very, very tough battle ahead. We do not have very good units over here. We've got some fair morale, 8 on our experienced units with some decent accuracy, but it just doesn't quite stand up to their Swiss infantry and such over here, does it? So we're going to have to use everything we have in our advantage, largely line infantry, no cavalry to help us with their cannons and such. It's going to be quite the slog of the battle. Okay, so the lay of the land is not in our favour either. The Austrians start, of course, in the city, and they do have a town on their left flank. They're putting the majority of their cavalry over in this area as well, with their Jaegers and some Swiss line as well. We're quite lucky that they have their cannons in this city at the moment, so they have to reorganise there, which means that we can push up to the centre of the field and take up a position that we like to ourselves without being battered by their cannons on approach for now. So we're going to try and do that. We are setting up the standard lines, I think, nothing too fancy, just to create a long line which can engage as much as possible and stretch fairly evenly. Do have a couple units of line infantry in reserve on both sides over here, and we're taking our 2 units of Prussian Fusiliers, our light infantry, over to try and sit on the hill over here and shoot down, but because they have that cavalry over here, that is going to be under threat. But that's why we have our 2 units of musketeers over here to form squares and bring out a nice barrage of fire like so. So let's push up and get our formation sorted, shall we? Okay, so we're trying to threaten this isolated unit of Chevaulegers over here. We're just going to push up a tad, or are they coming towards us? They're coming towards us, which is absolutely brilliant. We should be able to force those to rout off in some good volley fire here. Just going to push up a tiniest bit here to get into range. Double time that. We're going to have to be very, very precise with our orders here, and just be as reactive as quickly as possible. It looks like they're coming in for a charge. We should be able to sort this out. They're coming in over here. That's absolutely fine. We can turn around and then square up. If we form, I think we're going to have to form a somewhat thick line for that, but we'll shoot them in the flank because they are now just about in range of our light infantry. And that's going to confuse them, make them wonder where to travel. So they're coming in between our reserve and our front line here. I think we're going to square up over here. There we go. That was just in time to brace for that. In fact, they hesitated, so it's going to be very limp contact. They're very ready for our bracemen, and they're going to be shot as they move in there, which is excellent. That frees up that unit of cavalry, which means we can take this hill, fire down onto these Jaegers, and then take a strong position on our flank there. We've repositioned our cannons so that we can sit on top of this hill here and be rather aggressive with them. I'm just going to move back a tad over here to make sure we don't take friendly fire from our own cannons. This is rather interesting though, because they are of course still in the town there. I think actually we're going to move our cannons to the centre here, be very, very aggressive with our positioning. Very, very aggressive indeed. Take this up. And hopefully the enemy really, they force them to come out piecemeal through this town, use their cover against them, and really limit their outgoing firepower. Looks like we need to be careful over here though, so we're going to reposition like so. Double time that. We're going to keep this square up because the cavalry is looking to come in there. Going to have to double time this so that we get into formation easily here. We have some Swiss line coming over here, which is very, very nasty indeed. If we can pick off this cavalry one by one, that will really help us out there. Going to cancel this square because that's going to hurt our fatigue and vigour and such. We're going to charge into our Fusiliers here. We're going to have to run back into our own fire there. This unit might briefly rout, but it will come back if it does. Very, very messy charge over here. Very, very messy charge indeed. Let's move back over here, double time that. Move our lights a little further there, over the hill so we can fire over our line infantry. Not liking the morale of the cavalry here. Gas just run out of here very quickly. How's our cannons doing? We're pretty much in the right position there, so we are going to set up finally. Have started to rouse off this cavalry over here, so we're going to about face to shoot them in the back, make sure they really do leave the battlefield there. They're on very, very few men there. Very, very few men indeed. Rather messy little skirmish there. Rather messy indeed, but we should be able to get onto the sides, the column line of this Swiss and the German Fusiliers now. Wonder what to do about these Jaegers. They're not in the battle just yet, are they? I think we tempt an engagement here. If we take the reverse slope here and get in like so, tempt them out with our line infantry, bring up our reserves to corner them in a tad, and just tidy up our formation here so that we're all together. I think we're going to bring our general over this side because it's going to be the most intense fighting. Can we fire at anything with our cannons? We're going to fire down through here, I think. What do we have? Some Hungarian Fusiliers. Ideal target to fire at. Just get them peppered down because these are, of course, somewhat more elite side for the enemy there. And we can see that the cannons are actually elevating their shots a tad, which means that if need be, we can probably take this wall as cover in the future. How are we doing over here? Cavalry is coming back. Do we have to square up for this? We should certainly try. Do we need to square up for the second unit to our right here we have selected? I don't think so. That's got to shatter. It's only 27 men there. There we go. Before it even makes contact, it is gone. And that is absolutely shattered now. Excellent. So, we're once again going to try and tempt this unit out here. Looks like we're just about firing at the retreating cavalry there. Still worried a tad about these Jaegers. It's very difficult with the enemies just being so solid in this and stubborn in the town here. As far on this Swiss line as possible. I think we force an engagement over here, try and take the wall as cover. We push up to help over here as well. Tighten up so that we can stifle their advance on us. And I think we take the hill over here and just deal with this unit of Jaegers because I'm not liking that at all. Gonna have to walk because we are winded and tired. I would love to double time that. And now we have more cavalry over here incoming, so we're going to just double time into a decent position. They may well have to perform a very quick square over here as soon as they start moving, but first we're going to get as much fire out as possible. We do have the cover of the cannons as well over here. Just picking off the enemy one by one is a way to victory here. Are they moving towards us here? As soon as they start moving towards, just turning their face over, really, really tense over here. But if we can keep going, look at that cannonball coming straight in there, instantly followed up by a lovely fire by rank there, volley. Absolutely brilliant there. Really freeing up our flank just that much better. So I think what we do is we take the cover over here while we can. Be very, very aggressive there. Do we take this cover here? I think we do, because we can threaten their general here as well. Yeah, this cavalry is just sitting and taking it, and that really suits me just fine. We're going to have to worry about our own friendly fire possibilities on here. We are being threatened by Swiss line over here, as well as the Jaegers now, while we're not in formation. Need to double time into the cover, onto the hill, get up there as quickly as possible, bring up our reserve over here. Interesting minor visual glitch on the flag there, but not to worry, it's not making any difference. And now I need to watch out for this cavalry because I think we're going to have to forming a square. Takes a very nice cover here against what are we fighting? Some Swiss once again. Very, very nasty, the Swiss. We're going to have to square here because the cavalry are advancing, and that means we can focus our attention over here a bit better, ruining the morale and troop count over here on the Swiss one. They're very tired as well. Not quite in range of the Jaegers, which is unfortunate because that's what I really want to deal with over here. So we're going to push back, come us out of their range attack and focus down the Swiss if possible. How's that cavalry going over here? They did meet our square, so that's absolutely fine for us. Taking this cover is really helping us as well. I think we can probably afford to be even more aggressive and push up just along here. That's unfortunately the wrong unit. Thought I clicked this one over here. That's a minor mistake there. That is only minor. Do we have the cannon aid over here? Look at that morale. Enemy's not too sure what they want to do with their own position, which is absolutely brilliant. How are we doing over here? I think we just make sure our general is in range to help out our morale here, because we are somewhat isolated from our core. Are we in range to hurt people over here? Not just. So we're going to move out, come into the forest area here. Yeah, we're taking some friendly fire here from our cannons, so we want to redirect that if possible. Gonna have to push up with our reserves over here, help out against the Swiss line over here, who are also very tired once again. Not getting the best facing with this cover. There's not a lot we can do about that, unfortunately. How are we doing? We can certainly start pushing up now over here. You have to double time that and rush round. Turn around over here so we get more guns onto the Jaegers. And I think what we do once again is shift our general around, give him some waypoints to get around here and help out our left flank. Take some counter battery, I think, with our own over here. Looks like the morale's going down for some reason. Just trying to find a position where we don't hurt our own units, really. I think we'd be very, very risky. They don't have any cavalry to intercept us, so we unlimber and limber back up over here. Is the advantage of horse artillery over here, as we do have some manoeuvrability to play around with. Double time over here to help out our units, and I think we start entering the town where possible to charge into these cannons. If it comes down to melee engagements, so be it. Unfortunately, it's not ideal, of course. We'll be firing out over here. We are just reloading at the minute. Get some very nice volley fire onto these German grenadiers over here. They do have a terrain advantage over us, though, which is rather unlucky. You have to sort that out as quickly as possible. Would love a really nice volley into these Jaegers right now, but we are busy reloading, and we are very tired, so that's going to hurt us over there. The morale advantage is in our favour, though. What we could do is take this garrison. It's not going to hold everyone though. Cannons should be limbered up. Let's bring that round onto this hill. Somewhat out of the way so we don't get shot immediately, of course. Are we in range to fire over here? We are. I think we stand behind this cover, but just make sure we get our formation right to get more guns on target there. In range over here, firing out onto the Swiss line once again. We are better rested than the enemy there. Yeah, I guess a very nice fire onto the Jaegers now. Not killing a lot of people though, which is rather unlucky. I think we take the garrison there despite it not holding everyone. Don't want to rush into the town here because they do have this powerful reserve force behind their cannons. There we go. And their general's certainly in danger now, so that'd be very nice if he does start taking some shots. Gonna have to wait here. We are still reloading most of our guns, unfortunately. Not a good position at all for this general. Do we move over here? I'm not entirely sure. We're firing over here. Move out a tad. How's that general looking? We've absolutely battered that general. He will start routing. Hopefully get one more volley off over here. Would be brilliant. Yeah, look at that coming in there. How's our cannons doing? We've taken a building. Cannons certainly getting there. How are we looking over here? Could be doing better. It's just quite the slog. Gonna have to move our infantry over. And they're starting to bring their reserve over here, so we're gonna have to start engaging with our own, and their cannons will be threatening us. So we're gonna start in the cover of the buildings over here, move up to the centre here, be very aggressive, and we can start pushing through the centre to get a flank around on these cannons, I think. I think we'll be able to take this side with our current units over here. What are we doing with our general? Push him up a tad to help out over here. Still, they just hold and hold and hold this Swiss line. Very, very good at that, which is why we need it ourselves when we were recruiting it previously. And we're starting to have an effect over here. So while the enemy is retreating, we're going to take this hill over here. We're running out of ammunition, unluckily, there. So I think we exit the garrison if possible and move out over here. Jaegers are starting to hurt over here. We are getting shots out, just reloading at the moment. Revisit this flank over here. Start to unlimber our cannons when they're in position, and just move out here to help our flank and move into the town a little harder there. Started to wish we had the Inspire ability. We're going to move our general out over here once again. Be very mobile today, he is. Just have to watch out for this unit, which is very low on ammunition here. Hopefully we can get some shots onto this column of grenadiers and finally permanently rout us off the field. Very awkward terrain here to work with though. Very, very awkward indeed. Getting some shots out still, which is very good. And because it's just so uphill, we're not going to be shooting our own men. We are routing off the Jaegers finally. So we're going to take this open hill over here. And our cannons are now in position to unlimber. We're going to just fire on this unit, I think, to begin with, to make sure they do finally shatter fully. We're going to just turn out over here so that we're firing down the column of this line. So in this cover, we've done very, very well indeed. Just routing off this Swiss line finally, but we're now winded. Surprised we're not very, very tired and exhausted over here. We can see the cannons are firing out now, so what we're going to do is come round, possibly try and force a melee. I think what we'll do is we take this garrison, force a melee with this unit, or even this one. Run out over here, keep this as a reserve, or even switch out who is the low ammunition units. We've got two over here, not great at all. We're going to have to switch out very soon. Yeah, they're firing at this unit. But they're firing at the building rather than the units, which is great for us. I think we push this unit over onto our flank so we can cycle out our more ammoed units. Started to fire down, excellent stuff into the town. I think we push round rather wide onto the flank over here, be as quick as possible about that. Bring this unit down over onto this hill over here and start taking the town a little harder there. Speed is what we need. We're going to take cover in this behind this building with our general, bring him up so he can influence our units there. Double time this because we are now under fire, and we're going to have to cycle around. These are the two units, unfortunately, with low ammo. Double time this, I'm afraid, guys. Starting to rouse off their cannons because we are getting shots onto them. Unfortunately, they're using canister shot onto us. And we're going to have to be careful with this flank incoming here. Gonna have to come round, I think. This is why I don't like town battles at all. It really doesn't help us out at all. Not liking these thick column lines. We're gonna have to move in, I think, just pepper the retreating units over here so they don't come back on our flank and really rush in here. It's gonna be very messy town fighting, but we need to get in as soon as possible over here with our reserves after we cleared up that flank now. Not liking the morale over here, so we're going to push in a little harder with our general. Bring this unit over here to help out with the Hungarian Fusiliers, who are tired. I think push in like so while we have a favourable position. Cannons still firing, unfortunately. Losing a lot of men over here, but we do have the garrison. Should be able to fire right out here. Look at that. right in the enemy's faces while they are still manoeuvring, but they're going to keep a very nice fire on our flanks over here. We do have people again right in their faces. Why are we not facing the right way? It's because these are technically in the garrison. This is the problem of not holding everyone in the garrison there. Just take up this position here so we can fire on their flank a little better. Very, very messy battle indeed here. And they're just going to have to push up here, I think. What are we doing? Let's just halt here so we can get some shots over here. We're firing on their flanks now because they've taken a very, very interesting choice of manoeuvres here. How are we doing over here? Just watching out for our flanks, I think. And are we bringing this unit in? We're bringing this unit in. Excellent. One unit has used all its ammunition. We'll have a look at that in just a second. Need to watch out over here, unfortunately. Let's try and get into the town here. Get two facings if possible. So who's used all that ammunition? It is unfortunately you. Just pull these back for now. Morale's not doing great over here. Look at this. Look at this. Absolutely terrible. Still not getting loads of kills despite being right in their faces. Very, very nasty. Are they making a square here? They absolutely are. I mean, that's fine by me. Absolutely fine by me. We're going to have to push in a tad though. This unit has used all its ammunition as well. I wonder if it's worth charging them in, but I don't think so with their morale being so terrible. How do we do this? Move up over here for now. Is that cannon still firing? It certainly is. I think we just charge that down and run back out if possible. Straighten out our lines here. Are we in range over here? We'll be just about in range. Now we can watch the enemy's flank. Come into this garrison. Pop out through here. Let's try and get a slightly better line there. Actually being able to use grenades now would be ideal. Why are we not... Oh, we're exiting the building, that's why. Let's just run as quickly as possible through there. Get some nice volley fire out though. Come on men, you can charge through there. They've not set up, we're going to catch them. Oh, there we go, excellent stuff. Brilliant. I'll free up this flank. I've never seen such a bloody battle over here. You have to double time this because we're right in the enemy's face over. That might accidentally force a melee fighting for the garrison there, but we have apparently taken it. Look at that, we have men on the balconies out there. Excellent stuff, but I'm not liking our flanking units over here. We have forced a small melee there. Are we not firing out into the enemy over here? We absolutely are. Absolutely terrible for the enemy there. Let's look at our morale. They do still have a fair reserve, unfortunately. We're going to have to come right into this hill over here. And that should finish the job. We have a spare unit over here. That's not good. We need to maximise everything over here. Really not liking that. Really not liking that. Let's bring these units out so they don't get fired in the backs. Running out of ammo over here though, are we? That's not great at all, because we really need that right now. Start to rouse off these grenadiers over here, luckily. Which means we can take up the position here. What is going on with our lines over here? What is going on over here? That's because we were in melee. That's absolutely fine then. I think we're just going to watch this unit, make sure they don't return. We do have some men who are running now, unfortunately. Who is that? Right over here. That's not great at all. Might have to force some melees, unfortunately, and I think that's certainly going to be the case. Because we do need help over here. We're running out of ammo over here as well. Not great at all. Push our general up a tad. Really need some fire out on these guys, I think. Can we take this hill on their backs? Really pushing our men hard here. Yeah, another unit's used its ammunition, and that's unlucky it's on the flank over here. Very unlucky it's on the flank. Forcing melee over here, but it is with the light infantry, and that's not ideal, of course. But we do have some units on the flank there. What we're doing, certainly need to start some melee here while they're reloading. And bring our general up over here to help out with that melee on the morale side, of course. Look at this. I really hope we get a peace with Austria after this. We absolutely deserve it. Absolutely deserve it. Who's running? It's our light infantry over here. We're starting to take up a flanking position here, so we can deal with that. Gonna have to force a melee over here, but we do outnumber them quite heavily. Very sorry to say we do have some reserve I may have forgotten about over there, which could have helped us a lot, but we'll ignore that for now. We are just about winning this. Just about winning this. That has come down to the wire. Absolutely come down to the wire. But I think we have secured a final victory here. Just there we go. Heroic indeed, but very, very bloody. Let's go through the results and have a breather. Okay, so not actually as many losses as I believe to be so there. Just under 1,500. They do have a lot of enemies remaining. Look at that. Look at that. What do we get here? Confidence attacker, not the best, not the worst. Not the best, not the worst there. Can we finally get a peace? Thank you very much. Great. So, what's that done for our economy, that trade agreement? Not loads, but it's stabilised a tad. And that's stabilised our main flank down here. So, that's going to be it for today, folks. But just to outline our next moves, we're going to be using Gebhard von Blucher to destroy the army of the Electors of Hesse Castle over here. We could certainly take that on. We're going to use this army, which is going to be a bit spicier because we are relying on militia over here to take on this army. But we can reinforce with our minor units over here to take on the Swiss army. And we can't see any major Russians over here. So, I don't want to attempt it. But as long as we can keep a peace over here and recover with Austria, I think we'll be just fine. I think we'll be just fine. So, it's looking dire, but that's only on the surface of things. So, I hope you've enjoyed the video, ladies and gentlemen. But that is going to be it for today. Thank you very much for watching as ever, and another exciting episode to come in the near future. And I shall see you then. But in the meantime, I hope all of your nights and days are auspicious. Goodbye.